Greetings, reviewees! Welcome to the Part 1C of our English refresher, particularly the pronouns refresher. Okay, we will tackle the basics and the types of pronouns that you have learned throughout your high school experience. I highly encourage you to take the refresher first before taking the 1D exercises in the pronouns. So anyway, let's start. So, a quick recap. This lesson will be short, I promise. Okay, what are pronouns? Okay, pronouns are words that take place of nouns. So they are pronouns. So let's say in a way they are substitutes. Okay, they are substitutes or alternatives to nouns in case you don't want to say the same word, the same noun. Again and again, we use pronouns. So I think you're familiar already with pronouns. These are examples. Okay, so um, me, you, him, her, but there are other pronouns that need to be discussed thoroughly before we go to exercises in the next part. So let me just again describe pronouns as substitutes of these nouns. And there are different types of pronouns that we will discuss today. Okay, let's start with subject pronouns and object pronouns. So they are the most common forms of pronouns that you see in the English language. Subject pronoun. Okay, so I'm gonna simplify this. Subject pronouns just replace the subject. Okay, that's as simple as it is. Okay, they replace the subject. Let's take for example. Okay, this example, the business has been operating for decades. So here is the word the business. So instead of using the business, okay, if you want to say it again, you want to say this subject again, you can replace it with the word it. Okay, it has been operating for decades. So now that's how subject pronouns work. Another example. Okay, so Sheila tries to lose weight by dieting. So just focus on the subject, try to find it. Of course, it's Sheila. So we replace Sheila with the word she. Okay, that's how simple it is. Okay, she tries to lose weight by dieting. We use she here. Okay, how about for plural subjects? Another example here is the Maori people have a tradition of face tattoos. Instead of using the Maori people here, you could just try to substitute it. So they have a tradition of face tattoos. Okay, so subject pronouns just replace the subject. Okay, so let's now go to object pronouns. So again, okay, object pronouns, they replace the object. But what is the object all about? Okay, you can actually consider the object as your target. Okay, so in the sentence, that is being the target. What do I mean the target? Okay, so the object is the counterpart of the subject. It's being acted upon by the verb. If the subject, okay, acts or performs the verb, okay, if the subject acts or performs the verb, the object is the target of that action. So let's try for example. So let's try this example. I play chess every once in a while. Normally, you would consider I as the subject, and you're correct. Okay, it's the one who acts the verb. Okay, so I and play here is a verb. Okay, what do you play? What is being acted upon by the verb? That is the chess. So you could consider the chess the object of the verb. So again, the object is a word or the target, okay, being acted upon by the verb. In usual cases, there are three types of objects anyway, but that is for another lesson. Let's just focus on pronouns first. Okay, so object pronouns, let's say for example, my example earlier is I play chess. Okay, so I is already a pronoun, verb is play. Okay, how can we replace chess? Okay, so chess is replaced by the pronoun, so I play it. So that's how you use object pronouns. One more time. So how about this? We played against the senior teams last year. So we is the subject of the sentence. Played against the verb. Okay, played against. The senior teams is the one being acted upon by played against. They played against and the target was senior teams. So we can replace senior teams by what pronoun? Okay, I hope I can count on your past lessons in pronouns. Okay, we played against them. Okay, we played against them last year. So that's how you use object pronouns. Alright, so okay, one last. Okay, so last example we have here, to once and for all settle this, the mail is received by Sensei Jian. Okay, so how do you replace Sensei Jian? But Sensei Jian is me, right? I mean, it's me. Okay, so it means the mail is received by me. Okay, so that is how you use me, okay, the proper way. Okay, if you are the target. Again, let me say this clearly, okay? Use me if you are the target. Okay? You're the target, okay? You're the one who received the mail. Okay? So the mail here is the subject, received is the verb, and me, you're the target of the mail. So that is how to use, okay, for object pronouns. Usually, students can say the word I here. Okay, students answer the word I. It has been received by I. Actually, that's wrong. Okay, so it can be, okay, I received the mail. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, that will be correct. Okay, but here the mail is received by me. Okay, because you are the target, you received it. Okay, but here the subject is I. Okay, so that's it for object pronouns. Okay, so in the matter of possession, okay, we have possessive adjectives, which are actually pronouns again, and possessive pronouns. So how do they differ? Okay, I'll use a different sentence here. Example here is, it is the Filipinos' obligation to follow the law. Okay, so here the Filipinos' obligation. Okay, so that is the subject. Okay, our obligation. So we can replace this with a possessive adjective being listed here. So that is plural, but I consider myself as a Filipino also. So we use here our, because it's our obligation to follow the law. Okay, the subject here is obligation. Okay, it's just being, okay, being described that the obligation here is being owned by the Filipinos, therefore our. That's why it's an adjective, because it just describes the subject, and the subject is obligation. Okay, subject. And this is a possessive adjective. So our obligation. So how about on the second sentence? Okay, so the obligation to follow the law is the Filipinos. So again, the obligation is the subject. Okay, how about the Filipinos here? Okay, it means that the Filipinos here owns the obligation to follow the law. So that we use possessive pronouns. So they own the obligation to follow the law. So what we will do here is we will replace the Filipinos with ours. Okay, so we use, okay, our or possessive adjectives when we just describe that we own the obligation. Okay, but here, okay, the obligation itself is being the subject. Okay, and the word ours here is in the last part of the sentence. That's the difference. Okay, possessive adjectives are usually, okay, near the subject, close to the subject, but possessive pronouns are far to the subject. Okay, so that's the difference between possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. One more example. Okay, this is my version of the story, or we can have it as this version of my story is mine. Okay, so we have here again, okay, possessive adjectives. Possessive adjectives just describe the version of the story, okay, being mine. Okay, so that's it. And how about possessive pronouns here? Possessive pronouns here, okay, are far from the subject. That is when you can detect that if it's a possessive adjective or a possessive pronoun. So now we're done with the basic types of pronouns. How about the other types of pronouns? Okay, reflexive pronouns. Okay, reflexive pronouns is that. So how about reflexive pronouns? Reflexive pronouns are the pronouns you use if the action is done on the subject itself. Okay, let's say for example, okay, he, okay, helped himself recover from the injury. The idea here is that he helped his own self. So that is himself. So what are the patterns here? Okay, so you can see here the pattern. Okay, actually you can just copy them yourself. So I'll use another. Okay, the computer regulates blank using anti-malware programs. So okay, let's just replace the computer first with what pronoun? Okay, of course it should be it regulates. Okay, let's just remove the here. Okay, it regulates. Okay, and then we should search for it here. Okay, it has a reflexive pronoun of itself, so it regulates itself using anti-malware programs. So that's how you do it. Search for the pronoun for the subject and then find its reflexive pronoun here. One more time. Okay, how about this? We have done this to blank. Just search for the plural pronoun and find its reflexive pronoun. It doesn't actually count always, it doesn't actually apply always, but that's the trend. Okay, him, okay, her, it, okay, so those are objective pronouns. Our, your, okay, except for myself. Okay, so these are objective pronouns except for myself. So we have done this to ourselves. So those are reflexive pronouns. Okay, how about reciprocal pronouns? Okay, they are the pronouns that end when, okay, that act on one another, on each other. So example is, okay, we cannot fight a battle between one another. Okay, one another here is an example of reciprocal pronouns because we are fighting a battle, me against you, you against me. So that's okay, one another, each other. So that those are reciprocal pronouns, and they are, let's say, not commonly used or not commonly shown in quizzes. But I thought this deserves to be given here since we are studying pronouns. Okay, how about demonstrative pronouns? So demonstrative pronouns here are actually pronouns or determiners. They point out. Okay, they point out the subject. Okay, how about this one? I have here an example of, yeah, this one. So we can say it's clover leaves. Okay, clover leaf or clover leaves. So how about we try to name this one? Okay, let's name this one. Okay, as a determiner, that is a clover leaf. But what if you use it as a pronoun? As a pronoun, okay, that clover leaf. Okay, so as a determiner, it's that is a clover leaf. But as a pronoun, that clover leaf. Okay, how about we use this plural and near you? Okay, we call it as these are clover leaves. Okay, but as a pronoun, it acts as these clover leaves. Okay, so again, these clover leaves. Determinant, determiner, pronoun. Determiner, pronoun. So that's it. Definite pronouns are always, okay, about in general. Okay, So it refers to the noun in general. Okay, so someone, how about this one? Someone must help in person. It's in general. Okay, I think any person or someone, some person here must help this person. Okay, there are different types of indefinite pronouns. So usually there are singular indefinite pronouns like no one, anyone, everyone, each one. Okay, so these are indefinite pronouns. There are also plural pronouns. So like both, several. Okay, so those are plural indefinite pronouns, and you might want to give it a try searching on Facebook all the list of these indefinite pronouns. Few and many. Okay, these are singular plural pronouns, but there are contextual indefinite pronouns as well. Okay, depending on the kind of noun you are trying to describe. So there's a countable noun, okay, and there's a mass noun. Okay, so it depends whether or not this plural, this indefinite pronoun will be singular or not. I'll give you an example. Okay, if you use some, okay, some people, okay, it's actually plural. How about this? Okay, some people live for fortune. Okay, but if you use it in a mass noun, okay, it's singular. Why? Because a mass noun cannot be counted. Like for example, some of the pizza was already eaten. See there that it's was. So it's a singular verb. Okay? When it comes to indefinite pronouns, actually there are rules for that. But you know, I'm just trying to say that these are the pronouns. Okay? No need for any deep explanation. Okay, so indefinite pronouns are finished. Interrogative pronouns, okay, they are just used for asking questions. Okay, so usually, okay, and here are the general tips that can make you use these interrogative pronouns properly. Whom is for subjects. I'll give you an example. So, who did this to our bathroom? So, he's asking about the subject who did, okay, that kind of action to our bathroom. So, how about whom? If that is the object. Example, okay, to whom did you send the letter? Okay, so it's clear that the subject is actually you. You sent the letter. Okay, but the idea is the one he's being. Okay, so to whom did you send the letter? It's clear that it's you who sent the letter. Okay, but you is the subject here, and to whom is the object. Okay, the target of the sending of the letter. Okay, I'll give you another example. Okay, whom do you like? Okay, or whom do you like? So again, you here is the subject. Okay, and like is the verb, but the target of like isn't. It's the whom. Okay, here's another thing. Okay, who here can be answered by he or she, but whom, it's always him or her. Subject, object. So that is a good tip to differentiate who and whom, because you know lots of people get confused with that. So how about whose? Okay, whose, it's actually, okay, whose pencil is this? Okay, who owns this pencil? Okay, so how about what? I think you're familiar with that already. How about which? Okay, which is usually, okay, asked when you are giving choices. Okay, so which of these, okay, which of these dresses, okay, is familiar to you? Okay, which of these dresses is familiar to you? And remember, okay, so okay, when you ask which is usually a singular pronoun. Okay, so singular pronoun because it's a choice. Okay, it's you choose only one. Okay, so last of the batch is relative pronouns. So these are commonly used also. Okay, I'm just gonna make this a bit simpler too. Okay, so relative pronouns are used when clauses describe a subject or an object. Okay, or describe a noun. So they are used when clauses describe a noun. Let's say for example, okay, how about this? Rizal, who wrote symbolic novels, is considered a highly intellectual person in his time. So it's who, okay, who refers to Rizal, okay, and wrote symbolic novels is just a clause. Actually, you can delete it, okay, and it still can be grammatically correct. Rizal is considered a highly intellectual person in his time, okay. It's just that the clause gives more meaning to Rizal. Okay. How about we want to use the word whom? How about this? Rizal, whom the friars despised, was executed by the government for the crime of rebellion. So you can use the term whom here because he is the target of the word despised by the friars. So the friars are, let's say, the subject here in this clause. Okay. But the word despised is targeted to Rizal. Okay. So you can use the whom here. Okay. But here, it's Rizal who wrote the symbolic novels. Here, Rizal is being the target of the word despised by the friars. So that's the difference between who and whom. Okay. Okay, how about the difference between that and which? Okay, actually that and which are, the ones you encounter in tests that are a bit, challenging. So let's try. So first things first, okay, which is always singular, okay? And that is either plural or singular. So there we have it, one difference. Okay, how about the other difference? Okay, one key difference is that a substance that can make food last longer is called a preservative. Okay, so here, the clause, the words that can make food last longer is actually essential. Okay, it's, let's say, an essential clause. Okay, it won't make sense anymore. Okay, you can actually delete it and it won't make sense. Okay, a substance is called a preservative. Doesn't make sense. Okay, but here, a preservative which can be harmful to our health, this clause here, actually you can delete it. Okay, it's actually called a non-essential clause. Okay, if you delete it and the sentence still makes sense, a preservative makes the food last longer, it's actually which. So that's the difference between that and which. So there we have it. Okay, the different kinds of relative pronouns. So there you have it. Part 1C complete. And now we will go to the pronouns practice exercises. Okay, so thank you for listening to this rather short, rather long video. And if you have comments and suggestions, please leave it down below in the comment section. Thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel, and this is Sensei Gian once again. Thank you and mag-aral ng mabuti. Bye!